Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays Kerbal Space Program, where I realized we have a bit of a problem. First off, hey Mars, how's it going? But the problem is I had like I broke out in a cold sweat and was like, I didn't take a heat shield because this was previously, it was a what am I trying to explain here? Previously, this was an unmanned vessel, and as a result, we didn't need a heat shield because, the computer burns up in the atmosphere. What do we care? We got infinite money, right? It turns out we care, like, a lot, because now we got 3 astronauts here. So, the first stage of this episode, is just going to be designed to return us to Kerbin, which, I read a tutorial. We got to wait until, like, and again, this could take years, but we have to wait until Mars is, like, close-ish. Duna is close-ish to Kerbin, which I believe they said, like, Duna should be at 3 o'clock, and Kerbin should be at, like, 5:30, which is, like, here. So, like that. So we'll wait until that comes around. Presumably, the Mark II command module, or command pod, has some heat shield properties by itself, and if we negotiate a very, very shallow descent, we might be able to survive. So I think we should try that. But I'm mostly, to be 100% honest with you, like, I'm principally concerned with just whether or not we're going to be able to even make it back to Kerbin with the amount of fuel and the engine that we have. And, I don't know if we're going to be able to hit the Delta V necessary, I guess is what I'm suggesting. But we're going to try. And if you heard, like, that's just some hand sanitizer. Because, honestly, we gotta start from a clean slate here. Yeah, I use hand sanitizer on occasion. No, I don't relish in the thought of ushering in a superbug that will wipe out the human race. You know what? Take that up with the Purell Corporation. If a superbug comes, we'll just put better hand sanitizer on it. That's my philosophy. So, we're speeding up here. It's gonna take us a while. So we're basically waiting until we're here. I'm not too worried about our position relative to Duna, because that's like, when we're taking off from the moon, we want to know where the moon is, where we are, and where Kerbal is. In this case, I don't think we really care about where we are relative to Duna, as long as we can slingshot our orbit to go towards Kerbin, instead of going, off into outer space. The other thing that we could do, and I'm not sure if this is a good idea, but it might be a safer idea than trying to do a botched re-entry without a heat shield. But hey, creativity breeds, or what am I trying to say here? Restrictions breed creativity, right? No, but what I'm trying to say is we could just leave this in orbit around Kerbin, which we might have no choice. We might not have enough fuel to get back to Kerbin, but if we leave our astronauts in orbit around Kerbin, then we can save them at some point via a rescue mission that just docks with them, for example. But don't be so quick to dock away. You gotta dock your Kerbals. That's Justin Timberlake's Rock Your Body. Okay, so this is like roughly where we were looking to be here. Kerbin is our target. England is my city, etc., etc. So we're roughly at 3 p.m. They're roughly at 5:30. Let me read this tutorial to you. When you're wait. Make sure Duna and Kerbin are in the proper alignment. This time Duna should be at 3 o'clock with respect to Kerbal, and Kerbin itself should be at roughly 5:30. Warp until they are in alignment. Do not take off until this has been achieved. While not nearly as difficult as ascending from Kerbin, you are still negotiating a decent-sized gravity well, atmosphere, blah, blah. We're not on the planet, so that means less. Try to aim for a circular orbit roughly 70 kilometers altitude around Duna's equator. So I think we've kind of failed that, but we might be able to get around it just fine anyway. So we're not at all flying around the equator, quite the opposite. We're flying around the prime meridian where the Great Plains begin, right? And also, we need to effectively go, because this is Kerbin, yeah. We need to go this way. So We're not really ever pointing in that direction. I think at periapsis, we need to, like... Hold up. The sun apoapsis. In theory, to me, and this is, you know, me using my instincts, which is a dangerous situation, it makes the most sense to me to burn at apoapsis where our gravitational pull by Mars is the weakest. And I want to go this way. So we have actually a descending node or an ascending node here, but I think we want to go further. This might take some trial and error. I'm just being honest with you right now. Like, burn retrograde from that point. Okay, so we actually have an approach now. And we've lost this approach. Just give it a moment. Just give it a moment. Just give it a moment. This worked for getting us to Duna. Was it a great decision? I don't know. So we're going to be here, and it's going to be here. That means clearly we need to, you know, wisen up. We're going to be here. It's going to be here. Can't you just burn retrograde? Slow yourself down and close these in a little. No encounters, please. No encounters. What's our ascending node at? 1 degree. That's not that bad. I'm not too worried about that. Target position, our position. Somehow, this is actually working. Oh my god. Okay, well, we're gonna be able to get the world's briefest encounter with Kerbin. There we go. The encounter is in 32 days. The escape is in 32 days. We have like a 40-minute encounter. Dude, there's no way this is what we want to shoot for. I know we could try to roll with that, and I may. But for now, I don't want to do that. And the reason is very simple. Why in the Sam Hill would we ever try to shoot at it when we could just get next to it instead? Which I think is a much better approach. So again, let's try this. We want to burn prograde. Burning prograde will escape from Duna's orbit. Maybe that's just the first step, is get captured by Kerbin. It's the ascending node is at 0. Wait. Hold up here. If the ascending node is at 0, I mean, that's great. That's what we want, basically. Negative 0.5. Negative 0.3. Negative 0.2. I mean, I would settle for that, no doubt. But then what's our... Like, we're gonna fly out, but what direction are we going? When we escape, don't we go around this way? So it's gonna take us 1,000,000 years? Yeah, I don't think we want to do that. I think we want to shoot for the encounter as is right now. .7 degrees, not even close. Burn retrograde. Maybe we are gonna go for that one shot. I just worry that we don't have like nearly enough fuel. Yeah, this is good. Burn retrograde until you fly into the surface of the sun. Great use of your time. Okay, don't get bitter though. Don't get bitter. You know, this is not working right now. Hey, oh no, what have we done? Maneuvers, fake maneuvers. Get off the screen, please. It's crowded enough. We should have just gone with our previous encounter, which somehow worked. Okay, descending node, ascending node. I don't want to fly around for an hour because we might not be in the right position to make this happen at this point. Please? Oh, we've done it. We've got them off the screen. So when we escape, we're going to be in orbit around Kerbal, sorry, the sun. Sol, whatever they call it. I think it was called Kerbal in like a previous example. So we can exit. Let me just check the tutorial here. One quick check. I recognize you've spent a lot of time looking at maneuver notes. Final velocity is going to be around 13 meters per second when Duna's orbit is at 10 o'clock relative to Kerbal. Negative 75 degrees, begin your burn. Our final velocity is going to be somewhere there. So this is a little bit of like a shorthand tutorial, which is not what I need right now. I'm not blaming the tutorial in the least, but I think it is kind of, it's hanging me out to dry just a little bit here. Please give me the maneuver back. Okay, so there's our orbit. We can make this happen. I got faith. Try to get this to close in. And intercept. There we go. We had it. Get it to intercept this orbit. It's close. Burn retrograde for a bit to pull it down even closer. We lost our encounter. Pull it out a little bit. We got our encounter back. Close these bad boys in on one another. We lost it. Got it back, but they're moving further away. What if we burn prograde? They're moving further away. Pull it back this way then. We lost it. Just believe for a second here. Something along these lines. That's in a year and 36 days. We want to be going a little... No, we want to be going less fast. Ah! Oh, there we go. We got it. Completely by accident. And we're captured for almost a full day. In 15 days, we want to burn for 6 minutes. I'm sorry, this is not plausible. We do not have 6 minutes of fuel left in our system here. But I think we sort of just have to go for it. I don't think we'd have 6 minutes of fuel if these things were full. I have a feeling this is going to be a reverted flight. I might just let the astronauts go and grab the science. But the bulk of this episode, if this does not work, is going to be building our next craft to get to Duna. Because we do have some problems to work out. I think our first stage is pretty inefficient. More thrusters, less fuel might be a good option to fix that. Also, I think, this might be a little controversial, but in my opinion, we should probably apply a heat shield. I think having a heat shield on our rocket might be a good thing, so that the astronauts inside of it, who have, gone to very good schools and, have families and are human beings that we should feel empathy for, even if it is in a digital context, it would be better if we didn't lose the sum total of all of their experience in a hail of, the explosions, basically. So with about 3 minutes on the T-minus here, we're gonna do this. But it's clear that this is probably not gonna be enough fuel. But there is a chance that even though this isn't enough fuel, we might be lucky enough to just get recaptured by Kerbal naturally. And that might be what we hope for as, our ideal outcome. Simply because of the fact that we could stand the chance to recapture them later. Now, I said 6 minutes is not plausible. It's not. I think 2 minutes is plausible. Wait, are we traveling? We are traveling this way. It's our Duna escape. Hold up. I might have miscalculated this, and this might be our saving grace. Just move that escape up. We know we're gonna need speed. Like that, I don't feel bad about using fuel right now. Let's cut it. Delete this maneuver. And try to bring these boys home. Like, this is Apollo 13 now. Warp here. We've got to find the burn that's going to give us the least amount of fuel required to get to Kerbin. So obviously one would be at the descending node, you would burn like mildly up. Or at least like close to mildly up. This would put us at 0, well, roughly 0 degrees. But then how the heck we want to get recaptured by Kerbin? Small retrograde burn honestly seems like it might hit. Encounters in 2 years. The escape is in... Well, we have roughly a day where we get captured by Kerbin. I think we gotta go for it. We gotta burn for 7 minutes? This madness, dude. I really thought... I sincerely was under the impression that we were a genius. Because we are going in the other direction. Okay, whoa. Slow down then. Slow down. There's another way. There's another way. That way would be to... pretty much do exactly the same thing, but meet it on this side instead. We're encountering it for like 2 hours. That's almost a day of encounter now. Kerbin encounter, 93. Yeah, 'cause that's, again, almost a full day. That burn is 14 minutes. Oh! So what are we trying to do here? If there's any way to bring these boys home, we have to use as little fuel as possible. So you know what? I think we got to start to err on the side of Lady Luck. And what do I mean by that? It might surprise you. I think we just stay in our present orbit, but move it a little bit. Like, take our oval and just shift it. See, like, I hate to sound braggadocious here. We can make a maneuver, and if we had unlimited fuel, we would hit Kerbin. That's no problem. The constraint right now is that we have limited fuel, so... we have to do something creative. Like, we want to... If you want to change lanes in a car, we could put on our signal light, move into the other lane, take off our signal light, drive straight. That's efficient. We need to do so with the least fuel possible. And fuel is only used, in this case, unlike in a car, when we burn. What we might want to do is just tilt the wheel like 1 degree to the left, and then wait millennia for us to eventually get back around. And just like, I would like to lower the orbit as much as possible. See, like, this will work. But again, this is going to be like an 80-minute burn. 8-minute burn. At this point, I think this is pretty much what we got to shoot for. Our previous burn at 6 minutes was actually better. And I did not anticipate that. And we also don't do this burn for a year and 220 days. So I think it's pretty clear at this point that we are like, we're screwed. Mind you, you might think that I'm despondent. It's quite the opposite. I'm actually very happy about where we're at. And the reason for that is very simple. We got to Mars. Getting back, gonna be an issue. But as long as we're working on the efficiency of the rocket, I think we got a chance. So, I mean, are we gonna recover? Probably not. I think, or revert, I should say. I kind of want to keep the science, because we've accomplished a decent amount here. How much electricity do we have? 298. Just transmit as much as you can. Because we now have a connection again. Like, look at that. We're too low thinking we local. Come on, homie, we adjacent. Adjacent? Come on, homie, we adjacent. Adjacent? I still do hold out hope that perhaps in like 5 or 6 years we'll just get recaptured by it by luck, basically. But perhaps not. We should have taken that time to transmit, I think. We still could, I suppose. We're out of electricity. Yeah. We got some science back, though. We got 20, I think. Not a ton, but not a low number, necessarily. All my friends know the low number. So let's... I mean, I'm going to write this down, actually, while we got time here. What do we need? More fuel. Final stage. Probably. Especially if we're going to land and take off. Because, again, it's almost like taking off from a tiny Earth. Better stage 1. Photo electric panels and heat shield. Now, 2 of those are easy. Heat shield and photoelectric panels, like literally no problem. Year 7, huh? Mostly no problem, at least. Better stage 1, tough. More fuel final stage, again, that has kind of a ripple effect. We've missed our node by 2 weeks. Ah! Where's Kerbin? It's on the other side of the freaking world, dude. Okay, well, let's take the L. Revert. We were never gonna make it back, if I'm being honest. Let's take the L there. We flew to Mars, and that's a big milestone. Let's make the fixes that we need to make with this rocket, then. I still, even though we didn't get to keep our science, I consider that mission like an enormous success. So what could we do here? Well, first things first, there's probably no real reason the final stage should be this thin, honestly. We could go for stubbier. Although, I guess, what kind of engines do we have that are the right, like the Rocco Max size? Poodle, I suppose. Maybe? Maybe the final stage is fine. It does need more fuel, no question. But more fuel means putting more stuff on it. Well, let's start with the obvious. No matter what, we do want a heat shield right there. Probably with a decoupler right underneath it. Although that means we won't recapture our science. Kind of a problem for a different day, I think. And then, photoelectric panels. But before we do photoelectric panels, I have to decide, am I going to scrap this whole thing? And I think the answer is yes. So we want a, what is the Oscar? Oh, it's a tiny fuel tank. And again, we might want to also bring a satellite along with this stage just to drop off in high Kerbin orbit or something like that. But, you know, we'll save that for, again, a different time, I assume. Or I suppose. So let's start with payload. We're inching ever closer towards our completion here. So our service bay, or towards Duna, I should say. Our service bay, you know, we're going to put a lot of batteries in it. They're not necessarily cheap, but they're not necessarily expensive. But there's so much space that I kind of feel like I would be remiss if we didn't throw some of these in here. And then our science side, we're going to throw in, like, some goo. And then we're going to throw in a barometer. And we're going to throw in a thermometer. And there's so much space in here, like... kind of feel like we should put in our monopropellant tanks. And we can fit, like, quite a lot of these in here. Now, is this the best use for the space? Maybe, maybe not. I don't really like that you're poking down through the bottom, but I think you're still gonna function. So, yeah, that looks just completely normal. Close that up so we never have to see it again. Then, we also want some photovoltaic panels. Which they don't love putting on the outside here, apparently. 4 of those? Why not go for 8? Don't put them on the inside. Like, that's just idiotic. Sure, you know what? I'm sure they're not going to shear off there. They're, like, flush with this thing. And the hatch can still open. Sick. Alright, good stuff. So we got photovoltaic panels, we got the heat shield. The next step was more fuel. We'll accomplish that by default. The question is the thing still going to be, like, way too freaking heavy to function? The answer could well be yes. For now, I'm going to put 3 of these. Just like so. And then we're going to put the poodle. No, not underneath those ones, just underneath this one. And will the struts allow us to land like this? We might be touching the engine to the ground, but I think we got like a little bit of clearance on that. It's heavier. Yes. Full stop. So the next step would be, like, this thing needs to be on here, but essentially we just want this part, but with a decoupler. Because we're more or less actually, like, sort of happy with this stage of the rocket. In the middle, it's going to be less efficient because this next stage is heavier now, much heavier, in fact. However, I think we'll just leave that as like an appropriate variable for now. Now, because this is heavier, I don't know what you do about these things, except add, like, another phase of solid fuel boosters around them or something. Like, I know this seems like backsliding. We had a pretty sick rocket design that sort of worked, and now you're probably like, oh no, baby, what is you doing? And you may well be right. I may be crazy. But it's been a while since we got a little crazy in this episode, in this series. So, give me, like, some bilateral symmetry, please. And get rid of this. Can you not, like, place these bilaterally symmetrical? It annoys me. Because then, like, my next step was, what if you just put, like, some of these here? Wait. Thumper? Twin board? No. Yeah. This super heavy booster. Why do I think this will work? I'm going to be honest with you, it's because I don't understand science. What are you doing? Get out of there. You make me so mad sometimes. That's not what I meant by bilateral symmetry. Are you connected to this decoupler? Oh, you gotta tell me if you're not connected to the decoupler. Now you're connected, that's right. Yeah, that looks normal. You get out of there. You get out of my dreams, get into my car. What on planet Earth makes me think this will work? Well, it's a science thing. You wouldn't understand. I don't even think this thing's gonna take off. I'll just level with you on that one. Where's the other one? You're down here too? Okay. What? This one and this one? Are you out of your mind? This one is going to be the first one to pop, yes. And this one. But not this one. This one, get out. No. These are not, they're not the same. This one's got to go. This one happens much later. Oh, I'm in heck. I'm in heck right now. There's two there? What in the world have you done? I am an idiot. Control Z everything about this. Give me my winglets back, please. Thank you. Okay, don't do that. That was stupid. Never do that. Put it on here instead. At this point I have to try. Because of the fact that people are probably like, this is stupid, that's why I have to try. At least these understand the symmetry. I miss the symmetry. You're not connected. I know you have to click on the green, but clicking on the green doesn't put them where I want them. And thus, my problem is born. I don't think this will lift off. I'm not even putting launch stabilizers because I find it hilarious. But let's try. TZ as quickly as possible. It's a very simple problem to solve. Revert to vehicle assembly. What's the simple problem and how do you solve it? You just need more Herden power, dude. So let's take a couple more, well, like, of these. Keep the bilateral symmetry going, please. Just gonna connect them. Like so. Like if one doesn't let you take off, put another few around it, you know? What about this? What about this? It's only firing 2 solid fuel boosters to start with. If this thing stands up, it's going to be a miracle in and of itself. It looks pretty good. I'm not going to deny it. Like, haters will say this is bad, but they don't know what they're talking about. That being said, everyone did live, so I'm thinking you just want to grab like 4 of these, if possible. Just like stack another. Like the thing's getting pretty expensive, I'm not gonna lie. Have we crossed into silliness? Yes, this is silly territory. We're kind of just trying to create like a bunch of nuclear missiles. And we'll be back with a serious episode next time. I mean, this episode started prohibitively seriously. Oh lord, what have we? This is not even close to symmetrical. We're trying to get back from outer space. That was no joke, dude. That'll do it. Trying to get back from Mars. Took it out of me. Now I've decided, you know what? You want to make a more efficient stage 1? You gotta give it a booty. There's no chance. This even... What are you doing? Come on, dude. Okay, TZ, TZ, TZ. What do you see, Jebediah? Look on my works, ye mighty, in despair. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back to try to build a better rocket. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and if you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, I'll see you next time.